welcome back to my channel. My name is Nidhi and you're watching my series on how to become a cabin crew. So in today's video, as you can see from the title, we will be talking about 10 most important questions that every aspiring cabin crew needs to know. You know that I don't believe in spoon feeding, and my answers come directly from straight from my heart. It's based on the keywords, my experiences. I never sit down with the answers, and whatever I'm going to share with you today is basically my tips and my approach that I want to share with you guys, so you are capable of answering that question yourself. Because you have to understand that it's very easy to memorize an answer, but it doesn't sound genuine. It has to come from you. It has to come from based on your experiences. And this is what happens when you memorize an answer, and when you go to the interview, for any reason, if you don't remember what you have memorized because you became nervous, you'll get stuck and you would never know how to answer that question. So what you really need to understand is the approach as to what the interviewer is actually asking you. What is the reason for this question? And that is what I want to share with you guys in this video. So please go ahead and watch the video till the end, because I'm going to be sharing very, very important questions. And what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Number one, and the most important question that every cabin crew interview will have, which is, why do you want to become a cabin crew? Now, let's understand that the reasons why we want to become cabin crew are the inspiration as to why we are at the interview today. Now, of course, for a lot of people, the job of a cabin crew is a dream job. One of the reasons why people want to become cabin crew, because it's good money, you get to travel, you get to meet new people, and lots of things, right? I mean, these are the true reasons that most people want to become a cabin crew. But are these reasons enough to be given in the interview? To your surprise, actually, yes, they are. The mistake that we all make is that we only give these reasons. We don't align these reasons to the mission and the vision of the company. So for example, if your reason or your inspiration to travel, to become a cabin crew is to travel the world and meet new people, what you really need to tell the interviewers is that when you do that and when you get that kind of cultural exposure, what is it that you're going to do with it? So you've got to tell the interviewer, I want to become a cabin crew because I love traveling, I love meeting new people, and the cultural exposure that I get from meeting new people is what I use to have better communication with other people. So when I become a cabin crew with Singapore Airlines or Qatar Airways, I'll be able to handle passengers in a much better manner, because I will be able to communicate with them effectively because of the cultural exposure that I get when I travel the world. And this is one of the reasons I want to become a cabin crew. Now, you could actually talk about a few reasons here. It is not really only about these reasons. You can talk about the skills that you have, you can talk about the experiences that you have, you can talk about your stories, you can talk about why is it a dream. Maybe you were traveling in an airline when you were young, and that's how you got this idea that you wanted to become a cabin crew. So tell them your story. So there are a lot of ways to answer this question, but the tip that I want to give you guys here is that you have to align your reasons to the need of the company, what they're looking for. It just cannot be what you want. There has to be what you want and a mixture of what the company wants. So that's how you're going to present yourself in a much better manner when it comes to the question, why do you want to become a cabin crew? Second question, why should I hire you? Correct? Now, of course, every company would want to know why I should hire you. Now, again, a lot of times the mistake that most people make when they're actually answering this question is they keep telling about, you know, they have great customer service experience, they have good communication skills, they have, or even if as a fresher, you know, even if you don't have much experience, you only talk about you're very good with people, you're very approachable, and things like that. But what you don't understand is, how will the interviewer know what you're saying is actually true? So what you really need to do when you're answering this particular question is to give a lot of examples. Give examples. When you talk about I have excellent communication skills, give an example of how you used your excellent communication skill in your life, in your work. so that the interviewer can actually know the reality of what you're saying. And that's what's going to make them understand that yes, you are fit for the job. And that's what's going to make you stand out. So that's what you need to do for this particular answer. You need to give a lot of examples, but at the same time, you need to tell your skills. Now, these skills cannot be just any skills. Obviously, you have to tell the interviewer the skills that are the same that they need in a cabin crew. So for example, good communication skills, I have a good listening ability, I anticipate people's needs, or whatever you would like to say. I like to take care of people, I'm very good at customer service, and things like that. So that's what you need to do, but please remember to give examples of all of this, whatever you're talking about, because that's what's going to make your answer different and stand out from the rest. Number 3, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? Oh, by the way, going back to question number 2, I have made a video on that as well, so please go ahead and check that out. Question number 3, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? Now, again, I have made a video on this, but I wanted to talk about this question a little bit here. Now let's understand when it comes to strength and weaknesses. Of course, you want to talk about really good strengths that you have, but you also have to understand that these strengths should be quite similar to what I'm looking for in a job of a cabin crew. Now, for example, you tell me I have good leadership skills. Do I really need a lot of leadership when it comes to cabin crew? Especially at the beginning of your career? Not really, because you'll be working with a lot of people. So this is not a very relevant strength that you're talking about. But if you say that one of my strengths is to be able to work under pressure, that is a great strength, because in a cabin crew job, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress sometimes. You have to do a lot of service recovery. You have to get your job done in a very specified time sometimes. So yes, that is a very good quality when it comes to strengths. I'm very resourceful. I'm able to think on my feet. This is something that I would look forward to when it comes to a cabin crew job. So these are the ways you can actually put forward your strengths. Now let's talk about weaknesses. Again, as I said, I've made a video on this, but I just want to tell you guys a little bit here, because when it comes to weaknesses, let's understand, why am I asking you this question? How does it really matter to me? What's your weakness? Will I be using your weakness in my day-to-day job when you become a cabin crew? Not really. But what I really want to know is how you handle your weakness. So again, if you tell me that you're somebody who likes to keep everything clean, and because of that, sometimes you end up working extra, you end up working a lot more than your peers or your colleagues. Well, that could be one of the weaknesses, but showcase it in a positive light, because what I want to know is how you handle it. So I always ensure, to begin with, that I keep my area clean, and if possible, I advise people as to how they can keep their things clean as well, because that's going to help us as a team to work together in a very clean environment, and at the same time, no one will end up working extra. So do you see how I'm putting across this answer in a positive light, but at the same time telling the interviewer as to how I would handle my weakness? Question number 4. In your opinion, what are some of the qualities and strengths of a cabin crew? Now, this is something that is very interesting, because if you honestly ask me, the qualities of cabin crew is quite a long list. There are so many things which actually fall under the category of qualities of a cabin crew. A cabin crew has good communication skills, a cabin crew has good body language, a cabin crew has good grooming, a cabin crew knows how to smile at their best, a cabin crew knows how to handle pressure, a cabin crew knows how to handle their emotions, a cabin crew knows how to be approachable, a cabin crew has active listening skills, a cabin crew knows how to anticipate the needs of the passengers, a cabin crew knows how to make people smile, a cabin crew knows how to perform beyond people's expectations. A cabin crew is very empathetic, a cabin crew is very alert, a cabin crew is very observant, a cabin crew is very humble. So yes, as you see, there are a lot of qualities that you can talk about, But again, how to stand out? The tip here would be give examples, give stories. If, for example, you're talking about some of the qualities that you think, in your opinion, you can probably pick 2 or 3 qualities. You don't have to talk about all of these, but give examples as to how you actually have those qualities in you. Because my reason for asking this question is not just to understand whether you know about the qualities, but also to understand whether you have these qualities. Number 5. Again, a lot of times the airline interviewers would like to ask you if you've been in a particular situation where the customer has been angry, the customer has been upset, and how would you handle it? Because most of the times you will come across these kind of customers in your day-to-day job. So they want to basically see what is your thought process? How do you handle these people? Again, the tip that I want to share with you guys here, and also just to let you know that I've made a video on this, so you can go ahead and check my video where I've talked about the solution method, where I've talked about eight steps that you should actually take as to how you can handle these kind of customers, and you can take some points from there. But the tip that I want to give you guys here when it comes to answering this question is not so much about the solutions. Let's be honest. You know, a cabin crew training is usually for 3 to 4 months, and a lot of my cabin crew friends would agree that during this training you are told as to what are some of the available solutions to what are some of the issues that you might face when you go on flights. But what I really want to understand here is not the solutions, because most of us, when we want to answer this question, we jump to the solutions. What I really want you to understand is the process. The interviewer wants to see how you would handle. Would you apologize? Do you understand the gravity of the situation? Will you give this passenger or customer a listening ear? Will you acknowledge their issue even before you give the solution? So these are some of the things that you want to mention. Don't just say that I will apologize and I will go ahead and provide the solution, or I will go ahead and call my manager. No, talk about these small things that you would actually do. Like you would apologize, you would listen, you would acknowledge, and then you will understand the situation, and based on that you will see what's the next best step. Whether calling your supervisor is the best thing to do, or in your power, do you have anything that you can do for the passenger at that point in time? So this is what I need you guys to understand to be able to stand out with this answer again. Next question is for people who have some sort of experience, because most of the times when you have experience and it's not really related to aviation, maybe retail, sales, F&B, and you actually go for a cabin crew interview, this question would be asked to you as to why do you want to do a career switch. Now again, I have made a video on this, but I want to talk about it here by sharing this tip with all of you. Let's understand that at this point in time, the interviewer is actually not really interested in your old job. Okay, so always remember, never really talk bad about your old company. Whatever your reasons might be, do not ever tell the interviewer anything negative about your previous company. What you really want to focus on in this question is to tell them as to why do you want to become a cabin crew? Why do you want to make a career switch to becoming a cabin crew? So the focus of this question should not really be on why do you not want to do your current job, but the focus should be on why do you want to do the job of a cabin crew. So do you see the shift in the answer here? A lot of times the mistake that people make is they actually talk a lot about their old company as to why they don't want to do this job. They talk about that, you know, I've been in this job for a long time and I don't see it as a challenge, and it's a desk-bound job, and I don't see growth. These are some of the things that people actually mention. But what that does is actually that invites the interviewer to ask you more questions like, oh, so what growth you have not seen? Oh, so what kind of challenges do you want to take? Or you know, why do you say it's a desk-bound job? Or, you know, a lot of people say that I want to meet people. My job requires a lot of time just calling on the phone, and that's not something that I want to do. So again, these kind of things invite interviewers to ask you questions that you will never be prepared to answer, trust me. So what you really want to do is you actually want to focus on why do you want to become a cabin crew. So you can say that in my current job, I have learned this, and I would like to bring all this experience to becoming a cabin crew, because that is my dream job. That is something that I always wanted to do. I believe that I have the skill set, especially from my past experience that I have gained. And if given an opportunity with your airline, I would do my best to showcase all these skills and make my passengers really happy and be a proud face for the airline that I'm working with, or for Singapore Airlines or for Qatar Airways, whichever airline that you're interviewing for. So that's what you need to do in this particular question. Question would be, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Now, I have also made a video on this, but I just want to talk a little bit. The next question would be, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Again, there is a dedicated video on this. However, just to tell you guys a little bit here, when, you know, a lot of times, especially when you're fresher, when you have no experience, a lot of people get very intimidated by this question because they don't know how they see themselves in 5 years from now. Do they still see themselves working with the airline industry to begin with? Because they don't know what kind of job is it. Even for experienced crew who do not have experience in the aviation industry, they don't really know how is it going to be, because being a cabin crew is a very challenging job in itself. You'll be traveling the world, you'll be staying away from your family. So what you really need to basically show the airline interviewers in this particular answer is that, one, you are passionate to do your job. Second, you're here for the long term. Because let's understand, they're going to invest a lot of time in training you, they're going to invest a lot of money in training you, and they really want to know whether you have it in you to stay with them for a long duration of time. They basically want to know whether you have any commitments from here. So what you really want to show to them is basically how passionate you are to be in this industry, and how do you see yourself growing in this industry. You know, feel free to talk about you see yourself going to another stage. To begin with, you will put your best foot forward to learn, to make sure that all your colleagues are happy with you, all your passengers are satisfied with you. And of course, once you know your job very well, your next step would be to try and go beyond the expected level of service. So that's like one level up from what you already what you already should be doing as part of your service. So the next step would be that I would learn to become better. I will enroll in courses. I will, make myself a bit better. And then from there on, you can also talk about I will work towards promotion if there is an opportunity in 5 years while I'm with the company. But the main thing that you need to make them realize is that you're here to stay for long and you're not here for short term. So it's not just about traveling, dream job, it's really about how you see yourself with them in 5 years. Okay, another very interesting question. This I have not made a video on, and I wanted to make a video. The question is, why should we take you in comparison to everyone else who is here? What makes you better than other candidates? Now, always understand that the reason why I'm asking you this question is not because I want you to tell me that other candidates are not better than you. You always should, one, appreciate the opportunity that you got to be here with everyone. You can always talk about that. The other candidates, I have learned so much from them while I was sitting outside with them, while I was talking to them. They've shared their experiences. There are a lot of people in this room who deserve to be a cabin crew. And I feel the same for myself, because I believe that I have the qualities that it takes to becoming a cabin crew. And that's where you can talk about what qualities you have. You can give examples of your qualities. You can use skills from your past experiences and things like that. So that's how you should be answering this question. Again, as I said, the focus should be on not why you should not take other candidates, but the focus should be on you as to why they should hire you and they should take you. So you need to talk about you. You need to talk about your skills. You need to showcase your personality. You need to showcase the experience with the help of examples, with the help of stories, so that the interviewers understand you much better and they see you as a fit in a role of a cabin crew for their particular airline. So you can talk a lot about, like, for example, Singapore Airlines believes in making sure that every passenger leaves with a smile. They believe in exceeding people's expectations. So you can talk about how you have the same belief. You believe in exceeding people's expectations, and you've done that before in your past experience. Or as a fresher, you know, with your friends, you've always done that. If they come to you for something, you believe in going all out and doing whatever you can to the best of your ability. So these are some of the things that you want to talk about when it comes to this question. Another very interesting and important question is, a lot of times the airline interviewer will ask you, if you're not successful today, would you reapply, or would you be unhappy, or would you be sad? Now again, why the interviewer is asking you this question is because they want to know how much passion do you have for this job. So there is no right or wrong. As I said, it's okay to say that you would be disappointed because this is something that you have really worked hard for. However, I am sure that there is a learning experience here. I will go back and reflect on this interview and see what I can do to make myself perform better if I'll be given an opportunity again, which I hope there will be. Or you could also say that I will not be disappointed because I have learned that to be able to make yourself better, you should not get disappointed and sit on things, but you should move on and move forward. But I do not want to move on to another airline. My dream is to work for Singapore Airlines. My dream is to work for Qatar Airways. So I will go ahead and reflect and I will do whatever it takes to perform better when I'm here the next time. So yeah, as I said, there is no right or wrong. You could be happy, you could be unhappy. It's basically how you present the answer, and that's what makes the difference. You have to end your answer on such a note that they realize that you do have the passion to work for the industry. You want to be part of the airline. All right, let's talk about, for example, the interviewer is asking you, how are you going to handle a nervous passenger? How are you going to handle a first-time traveling passenger? Now, again, as I said, these are situation-based questions. Do not focus too much on people. Do not focus too much on solutions, but focus on the process. That's what's important, okay? So always focus on the process. For example, if there is a nervous passenger, first of all, as a job of a cabin crew, I want to make sure that all of my passengers are taken care of. So if I happen to see a nervous passenger, I will make sure that I give a little bit of an extra care, and not just from my end, but also I will make sure that all of my colleagues take care of her whenever they see her. So I will sit next to her, I will talk to her a little bit, try and understand what is making her nervous, and instead of focusing too much on what is making her nervous, I will try and distract her by giving her a book to read, or telling her as to how she can be a bit more comfortable. At the same time, I will regularly check on her every few minutes or every few hours, and if I'm not available, I will ensure that my colleagues do that on my behalf. So at the end of the day, when there is a nervous passenger, the idea is to make sure that as a cabin crew, we tell the passenger that we are here for you. We will take care of you, whatever the situation might be. So yeah, this is one of the ways as to how you could answer this question. So as you see, I was focusing a lot more on the process. It's not really so much about the solution as to what the solution is, but what's the process of understanding your passengers. What is your passenger going through? What is your passenger's expectation? What is it that they want from you? And if you have stories and examples that you want to share, if you've dealt with people who have been nervous before, feel free to do that. I really hope that you enjoyed listening to it, and whatever that I've shared with you, you will implement it on your next cabin crew interviews. In fact, some of these questions are very valuable even for normal interviews. So feel free to apply them to a non-cabin crew interview as well if you are one of those who are watching this video. And of course, do remember to like the video, share the video, and do not forget to press the bell icon so you can be notified with my next video. And you all know that I do take coaching classes. Get in touch with me. My website is listed below, and I will get in touch with you. And in the meantime, if you have any more questions that you want to share, please go ahead and put it down in the comments, and I will make another series of videos on this particular question answer segment. And as I always say, in the meantime, all of you out there, stay handsome, stay pretty, and stay safe. Safe flights, everyone. Love you guys.